Okay, let's get a check of the weather now. Meteorologist Cedric Haynes. You know, Cedric, the environment and the health, our health is connected in so many ways.
Yeah.
And now's the season where a lot of people are beginning to feel the effects, allergies from that hazy layer and the change in the seasons.
Yeah, and it's even the simple part of how it gets darker earlier, the less daylight that you see. And of course, when we have all these cloudy, cold days, you want to stay inside. You don't want to get outside. And then, yeah, all that affects your health in different ways. And you have to be aware of that here this time of the year. But let's talk about this weather pattern across the country, because it's an extreme weather pattern. Now, I know what you're saying. Cedric, we don't have any extreme weather here in the Beehive State. Sure we do. Did you go outside today? Did you see all that haze and smog out there? Yeah, that's a big ridge of high pressure. It's a very impressive ridge of high pressure, blocking any type of storm system from making its way into the area to help clear out the air and help mix things up a little bit. Now, what goes up out west has to come down somewhere, and that's across the eastern half of the country, and that's when you get this big trough that develops. This is where all the lake effect snow has been, all the very cold air has been, and that pretty much is going to stay the same as we go in the next day or two. So you'll see this low pressure, actually a reinforcing shot of frigid cold air diving down across the eastern half of the country. Meanwhile, that means our high pressure ridge continues to just rise and strengthen out towards the west. But there are signs. Check this out. By the time we get towards the end of the week, I don't think we'll see any haze breakers coming through on your Friday afternoon, but the winds will start to shift out of the north. That may mix up the air just a tad, but still we've kind of got the same overall weather pattern. But as we head into the weekend, now we're talking. We've got a storm system coming out of Canada. Now, the problem with this is that high pressure is going to make that storm go up into Canada and then down into the U.S., which means it loses some steam as it moves our way. But I do think it's going to be strong enough to bring us some much colder air as we head towards the beginning of next week. Colder air, when you bring that in above the colder air at the surface, it mixes up the air, kind of gets rid of the inversion. Now, with this, not only will it bring us the colder air, it could bring us some unsettled weather and maybe a chance of precipitation, which we should sure use. We want to get this murkiness out of here. Look at this time lapse. It's just incredible to watch. Yeah, we're breathing all of that in here in the valley areas throughout the day and even into the nights. That's why you got those itchy throats, those burning eyes from time to time. Yeah, that's pretty rough. There's your warm layer of air that acts almost like an invisible lid that helps to trap all of that smog and pollutants right down into the valley areas. And as it tries to ventilate or escape, it runs into that cap, so it goes right back down into the area. So that's what we're dealing with, and that's why we've got to have something to come in to mix this up a little bit. And until that happens, we're going to still deal with that. So code orange right now, unhealthy for sensitive groups, but check it out for your Wednesday, Thursday, even into Friday. I wish I had better news, but it's looking still on the smoggy, just yucky side to be outside there. It may improve slightly on Friday, but I wouldn't count too much on that as of now. Temperatures, 20s, 30s out there tonight. We do have upper 40s in St. George with some of those clouds. It'll stay a little warmer down there, 36 degrees. The rest of us in the 20s. Watch out for some patchy areas of freezing fog. I don't think it'll be widespread, but for some of the areas that are close to some of the water areas there, lakes and over towards the body of the water, you could see a little fog. And with temperatures below freezing, could be freezing fog. The high temperatures for tomorrow into the 40s across most of the state. Look at that, Lower Washington County back in the low 60s and no inversion there. So that's lots of sunshine. And meanwhile, the rest of us, sunny and hazy conditions expected. Let's talk about that next storm system. Watch how it goes up and down. That's the pattern, right? So everything is going up and around that ridge of high pressure. But by Friday, it starts to break down. And as it does, so it allows this next system to kind of drop due southeast. And that's what could finally bring the change here, bringing us not only some chances of some snow showers, but more importantly, colder air, which could mix up the atmosphere and get rid of that inversion. So we'll be tracking that chance as we get into your Sunday, Monday. It doesn't look like a big storm system right now, but again, it could bring us a little bit of accumulating snow. We'll see how that plays out. But the bigger story, the better air quality, which I'm sure everyone will be excited about. St. George, you're saying, hey, we don't have to worry about air quality. Look at that, 60s and sunshine. The Wasatch Front, oh, it's a whole different story for the rest of this week.
Our crew down there in St. George, living large. Right?
I'm telling you, one day they're going to let me down there. One day.
One of these days.
One of these days.
Yeah. Never assume.
That's true. That's true.
Up here in the cold. A little college basketball to talk about today. College basketball, BYU and the Utah Jazz both on the road tonight, and both came up short.